All right. This is Module 6 Discussion Group B. We are supposed to pick two questions and answer them from Chapter 9 and Chapter 10. So I'll just jump right in there. The first one, discuss and differentiate between groups, teams in terms of both development and performance. Why do authors differentiate? So groups are basically a gathering of people or sections or units in a sense, um, that are they support each other, but they have a common goal that each of their jobs specifically will contribute to this goal. And then teams are a subdivision of that, where they each person within a team has a specific job that they're responsible for. They share a load to it to a specific task. So on page 260 and 261, there's a table 9.1 that kind of splits them both in there. I took this exactly this exact definition in a sense and applied it to my job. So um, my unit, right? We have five different sections. Um, so each of them is a team: a food team, a lodging team, a fitness team, a readiness team, and then we have a outdoor rec slash uh, organization team. Each of them have their own section specific tasks and projects. And then a group would be our entire unit together in combination with, let's say, security forces and comm flight and logistics team and the civil engineering guys. They are a part of a group, which is a mission support group, where their whole job premise or goal is to support the maintainers and the flyers. And the basic overall mission of our organization is to support the flyers as far as the refuelers go. So that's how I chose to answer just one. Uh, Second one would be, how do models of a group development and team performance help you better understand groups and group dynamics? Can you think of times this information may be helpful, or useful in the past? So on page 261, kind of goes over the group uh, model Tuckman's. That gives you 4 steps to a group, how they come about. So forming, storming, norming, and performing. So every year our installation has a picnic, like a wing picnic, an installation and picnic, and that's when everybody comes together. We sit down in a meeting and say, hey, you're in charge of, well, I don't, somebody else says, hey, you're in charge of this, so and so is in charge of this, Dukar, you're in charge of this. And then we kind of break off into our own teams and try to formulate a plan for that specific task. And there's other things that happen, like major installation training programs, that encompass a lot of different other groups or teams for the overall group mission. And then one thing I've seen this model before, and they add a 5th step. It's called adjourning. When the project ends, there's usually a after action report that's done, and it just kind of goes step by step, the good things, the bad things, the outcomes, and how we're gonna solve those issues later on down the road. And people kind of just dismantle that project team in a sense, so they can go about their normal business life. Team performance model, page 263 and 264. There's 7 steps to it. They give a diagram on 9.2. It's a kind of like ever revolving, and it talks about, bringing a person in, orientation, and building that trust from people. Goal clarification, always pointing them out. Hey, this is the commander's intent, or this is the team lead's intent. Uh, Commitment, implementation, high performance, and renewal, where it just keeps going. Every year every 2 years we do a performance evaluation. So it's always evolving, making sure that we're setting the bar a standard and asking members, hey, here's your bar for the next 2 years, and then after that, we're going to set it a little higher, so on and so forth. Going on to chapter 10, discuss effective employment recruitment, apply the stages in your own employment history, explain where you believe it has been both effective and ineffective, and the strengths and deficits of this model. So on sorry, I have my pages all mixed up. Page 287 through 289. There's different types of recruiting objectives, strategies, activities, and applicant interviews. So for me, all the jobs I've had were interview based in order for me to get to that job. So much so on this last job, this last career change I made into services, I was actually intending to go to security forces because this is something that I've always been interested in. However, my chief master sergeant, the senior enlisted of the shop at the time, knew I was going to school for exercise science. So part of services is fitness and outdoor rec planning, event planning, so on and so. So he found out what my needs and wants were, and he tailored that message specifically to try to recruit me into his squadron, and that paid out, right? So I think that's like one of the best things I've seen as far as recruiting goes. Figuring out exactly, hey, trying to find out exactly what this person wants to do with their lives, what their goals are, what their ambitions are, finding their needs and wants, and tailoring that message, reading the person, and making sure that you are kind of manipulating your message to get them to come to your organization. And then, using examples from your personal professional history, explain Jablin's stages of organizational socialization. So the only thing I saw in here for Jablin was the disengagement and exit. I could be wrong. You guys can tell me that. I'm not gonna get my feelings hurt. So as far as his idea of disengagement, it goes through 4 different steps of disengagement. Pronouncing the step, announcing the exit step, actual exit step, and post-exit step. This it just kind of stuck out to me because it actually is happening with me right now at work. My number 2, see, there's only 2 people that work full time there. It's me and this other guy. This other guy, basically, he's been saying pre-announcement steps, saying, hey man, I've been thinking about this, we're gonna move, blah 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 blah. And then he made the announcement like a week later, which I wasn't there, and just kind of blew us by surprise. And then he took the actual step afterwards, and that was basically saying, hey, here's my 2 weeks notice, and this is it, I'm done. So he's gone by next week. But I have been doing the same thing too, because I've been going to school full time, trying to get my commission. I've been doing the pre-announcement steps, just being like, hey, what is this officer job like? What is this other officer job like? And it's kind of been like giving them like little clues that this might happen, most likely will happen. The announcement stage won't happen until I know for sure I landed a job somewhere else. That might not be here, it might be in a different state. And then, actual step, post exit step is basically me had left or leaving the job itself. So, which my counterpart is doing that right now. Once he leaves, that's it. That's end game. He moves to Florida, and yeah, it'll be me and somebody else bringing somebody else and to fill in his spot. So yeah, when it comes to the case study, what are the two concepts assigned to your chapter and one concept from the other? That concepts to apply to the case study. So on my per your work assignment, I brought in a bunch of, excuse me, a bunch of concepts. One of them was there were no team building models followed whatsoever. You know, they brought this guy in, they just threw him in the team and said, run with it. Opposed to doing the whole orientation step and just saying, hey, you guys are a team. Here's my expectation for a team. This guy is gonna be doing information seeking. He's gonna do the data evaluation, whatever the case might be. There was nobody setting the tone. They just let Dante set the tone for himself, and he just kind of took off. The other one was Dante's huge empowerment that the company gave him. Said, "Hey, you're here to do this job. Go with it." That was kind of the dark side of empowerment when um, building that confidence, building his confidence even more for major projects and giving them too much power without laying down any type of ground rules before assigning someone to such roles. And then for the second one, I'm almost positive that it's gonna end up being like a disengagement scenario if it haven't already happened. But there was a little bit of formal mentoring and his feedback towards the end of the case study when he sat down with Emmett, I want to say, and he would just kind of, or he or she, gave him just a cold truth, bottom line up front. Hey man, you, even though you did good in some aspects, there's a lot more bads that happen. Like there's no I in team. You know, you just kind of threw your team under the bus. So the disengaging part is just basically that other email that he got from a different company saying, "Hey, we would like to have you on board," but we never see the outcome after that feedback that he got. So, anyways, that's what I have. Hope to hear from you guys soon and discuss a little bit further. Thank you. Have a good night.